In case you've been living under a rock, let me notify you that Nikola Jokic is utterly insane. Right now, he is in contention with a chance of winning his 4th MVP award, and I don't care what anyone at NBA.com says, the race shouldn't even be all that close. Many people on YouTube and on social media in general are starting to make the claim that Jokic is having the greatest individual season of all time. And sure, this generation is way too obsessed with sensationalizing things, and we're often slaves of the moment. And sure, part of our jobs as YouTubers is to make video titles and thumbnails that are as enticing as possible, which means that people often make claims that are way bolder than they actually should be. But as the guy who tries to objectively cover NBA history for a living, I have to say, these claims that people are making are completely valid arguments, and there's nothing really crazy about it. Now let me first elaborate on something. It is extremely difficult to rank the Joker's season compared to other players, simply because Jokic is not an elite defensive player. Sure, some may make the point that he's improved over the years defensively, but he's still never been the two-way force that guys like Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon were. So when you're talking about this being potentially the greatest individual season ever, it's difficult to look past the defensive end. So let me put it this way. Nikola Jokic might be having the greatest offensive season of all time. So let's specifically look at the year he's having on that end of the court. Despite not having a tremendous amount of help earlier in the year, the Joker currently has his Nuggets in the 4th spot in a stacked Western Conference. He just had a game against the Sacramento Kings where he dropped 35 points, 22 rebounds, and 17 assists. He is now the first player since Wilt Chamberlain in 1968 to record a 30, 20, and 15 game. In the last few years, this guy has been getting put in the same conversation as Wilt Chamberlain quite a bit, and this season is no exception. On the year, he's averaging 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 10 assists, while being insanely efficient from the field. If he finishes out this season maintaining these numbers, then it will only be the 3rd season in NBA history where a player averaged a triple-double over the course of the year. And if you ask me, it will be way more impressive than when Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook did it, because Jokic is doing it as a center. No center in the history of the NBA has ever averaged at least 10 assists per game over the course of a season, and the Joker looks like he's about to do it while averaging 30 points and 13 rebounds. All of this being said, and I've barely talked about the jaw-dropping efficiency. Nikola Jokic is currently shooting 56.4% from the field. In the history of the NBA, only 4 players have averaged at least 30 points per game while hitting at least 55% from the field. And the Joker looks like he might be on his way to becoming the 5th. But this part is even crazier. On the year, Nikola Jokic is hitting a hard-to-believe 47.9% of his 3-point shots. To put that in perspective, Steph Curry is widely considered as the greatest 3-point shooter in NBA history. And yet, he's never had a single season where he shot the 3 ball as efficiently as Jokic is doing this season. This isn't from a lack of volume either, as Jokic is attempting a career-high 4.3 3-point attempts per game. That is the 10th highest attempts per game average for the center position this season. Obviously, he's not being shy or selective with his attempts, as he just recently attempted and buried this 80-foot bomb against the Kings, which was officially the 6th longest made shot in NBA history. Now, a lot of viewers of my channel understand the history of the game, and how certain eras benefit certain players. Some of you might try to make the point that Jokic is benefiting from the statistical inflation of this modern era. Well, the thing is, it's really only inflated in terms of scoring, seeing how teams in the last few years have been averaging the highest amount of points scored since the days that Wilt Chamberlain played. But that doesn't explain why Jokic's rebounds are so high. Statistically, centers are averaging less rebounds in this era, due to the fact that there's so many long shots being taken, which means that more long rebounds are available for the guards. It also doesn't explain why Jokic is averaging over 10 assists per game, because when you think about it, Wilt's era was even higher scoring and had more possessions per game. So if anything, Jokic is putting up record assist numbers while being at a disadvantage. And it also doesn't explain why Jokic's three-point shooting efficiency is so alarmingly high. All-time great shooters like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and James Harden aren't even close to the level of efficiency that Jokic is experiencing this season. Simply put, we've never, ever seen a player performing like this. A big man has never had this combination of scoring, passing, and rebounding while being so lethal from deep. Conventional basketball wisdom would tell us that this guy just doesn't make sense whatsoever. Not only should he win the Most Valuable Player award this season, but he is literally the ultimate example of what a valuable player is. Case in point, right now, Jokic is experiencing the best plus-minus in a single season in NBA history. The Nuggets with him and the Nuggets without him are two completely different squads. Second place on that list is also Nikola Jokic in 2022, and then LeBron James in 2009 at third, and then Nikola Jokic again in the fourth and fifth spot. So when you're looking purely at the offensive end, is Nikola Jokic having the greatest individual season in NBA history? Yeah, probably. It's more impressive than Michael Jordan in 1988, LeBron James in 2013, Kobe Bryant in 2006, and Steph Curry in 2016. You could argue in favor of Wilt Chamberlain in 1962, where he famously averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds. But the thing is, when we look at the scoring production by combining the assists and the points per game, then the offensive output is actually close between Jokic and Chamberlain. Except that Jokic was way more efficient from the field, leaps and bounds more efficient from the free throw line, and is doing all of this while playing about 12 minutes less per game, which is essentially an entire quarter's worth of basketball. We still have a lot of games left to go in this regular season. So will these numbers and averages remain the same? Who knows? But what we do know is that we're currently witnessing one of the greatest starts to an MVP campaign that we've ever seen. And as things currently stand, there is a very, very realistic chance that it ends up being the greatest individual offensive season in the history of the league. So what do you guys think? If the Joker maintains these numbers, is it the most impressive offensive season of all time? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.